moon, we just shifted into werewolves. I mean, technically we would still be ourselves. Might be a little more hairier and a little more moody, but we'd still be ourselves. Many of you have probably watched Scooby-Doo growing up as a kid, and you'll recall that many of the monsters they've seen were just cowardly people doing bad things and hiding behind a mask. Growing up, I always enjoyed watching things like movies or reading about monsters because it was always fun to see how many of the monsters weren't really the monsters themselves, but the people and how they acted. That's why I want to go over the appearance of supernatural beings in classic literature and how they can betray our main character's inner demons, just like many of us have our own inner demons. Specifically, I want to go over two stories, which is the play Macbeth and the novel Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In the beginning of Macbeth, there's three witches, and they start off by going over this prophecy that Macbeth will be the next king. And later in the play, in scene 3, Macbeth comes with his companion, Banquo, and they praise him and tell him all about this prophecy, and he's very interested about it, which can already kind of show his greed about wanting to be king. In Act 4, Scene 1, Macbeth returns wanting to know more about some other prophecies and how he can continue to stay a king. Because if you don't know, he's already killed the king to become king, and he's already killed an innocent family, so he's already got a big arrow pointed at his back. So when everyone says the witches are evil, to me Macbeth is more of the evil one, because even though they technically said yeah, go do this, you can be king. They never said go kill the king. He chose to do that for his own greedy reasons. He wanted He wanted to become king. Now, sometimes we're not just tempted and tempted by our greed and stuff like that. Sometimes our actions are made by our own inner demons. In Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that whole novel demonstrates the good and the evil we have inside. The author behind Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, he had stated that he got the whole idea from a fever dream he had during one night when he had tuberculosis, I believe. So, as you can see, many of the ideas he had for this novel were already in his head, and if you know about dreams, many of them come from memories, ideas, and thoughts we have. That's why a lot of people believe he got the whole idea from serial killers that were running around at that time. Now in the story, many people believe Mr. Hyde's this evil, deformed creature, but in reality, if you think about it, he's just another part of Dr. Jekyll. He's just the evil side that has taken shape and is probably acting on what Dr. Jekyll had thought at one time. Maybe he got mad and was oh, I want to punch that person for being so rude to me, but he didn't do it. Mr. Hyde probably did it because it was his evil version that had freedom to actually act on these thoughts. Oh, sorry, I thought there was another slide. Anyway, what I want you to consider before leaving today supernatural beings in classic literature can be a way to portray the main character's thoughts and intentions. They help give an insight of who our main character is and why they do or act the way they do. So when you leave this speech today, I want you to think about, aren't we all just people, monsters, hiding behind a normal mask in hopes that the evil in us doesn't get out?